Hello! Welcome to a very, very special indie interview. I know it's kind of a bit of a strange thing. This is the first time I'm interviewing myself, and I have some very special guests with us. Not only do I have Kitty and Jenna with me, who have hosted several times before. Say hi.
Hey all.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. I also have the voice actress of Cleo with us today, Shakira Dunn.
Hello.
Yeah. Shakira, do you got any excited projects coming up?
Oh, a few. I mean, a couple of them are still NDA, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I'm working on Defenders of Elodia right now. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
voice of Rebecca there. Um, gosh, what else am I working on?
Yeah, I can't even imagine just trying to do all just being like a voice actor stuff.
Oh yeah, I also write, so there's that.
hmm hmm yeah, but uh, yeah, she is the wonderful voice of Cleo Meshakovia in our pilot. And yeah, we actually did this interview a fewish months ago with Kitty and Jenna. And if you were there before, well, congratulations. You were one of the lucky people who got to see uh, our full performance because that audio got lost. So I tried to do this again, but it's like, I'll just do this with some people I know again. Jenna, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hi, I'm Jenna. I'm a voice actor and a writer, and currently working on a animated short of my own.
hmm
And yeah, I'm just very, very happy to be here.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Last time we talked, it was what was it? Oh yeah, we did the
Uh,
whole for
Dom.
Disney's 100th anniversary. We did a Don Bluth
Yeah,
special.
yeah.
John Bluth. Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. He's great. Yeah. Kitty, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure.
My name is Katerina Fink, and I am an animator, a writer, you name it. And I am currently producing the pilot for my own animated series called Nightgrim.
Yeah. I also saw your latest animation. Do you see me? That was all about
Oh
you, right?
yes, yes, that was my final project for the fall semester.
Yeah, it was very. Yeah, if you want to see like a asexual representation thing, check that out. It was very, very cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Today we are talking about Mr. Manhattan, my very own project. So Myths of Manhattan is kind of uh well actually to get into the making of it, years ago it started like as a originally it kind of started as a children's novel, but then as time went by I started like working on more stuff and like more ghostwriting stuff. I decided to make it a graphic novel after I went through some changes. But then once I found the person who was making the graphic novel while I was working like on the Howling Hoods like web comic, uh the illustrator I had for Miss Manhattan was phenomenally talented, but unfortunately, family stuff just came up, and she just had this her business, and it just like we're still friends, but like she was just like, "Hey, I'm too busy right now. I can't work on this." It was like totally fine. Uh, so kind of in a rut, I turned Howling Hoods into an animated project. And then I'm like, after some time went by and I got more experience with animation stuff, I'm like, you know what? Well, I'll turn the first fewish chapters of Miss Manhattan into a animatic pilot and like kind of produce it. And while it's still the work, it's all written out and done. Uh, but yeah, it's just one of those things that like we hope we can get off the ground. So yeah, you're kind of seeing the evolution of it, like RLL, like as time is going by. Uh, yeah, and thank you very much for Shakira for coming on to voice Cleo.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, yeah, God, and yeah, you were also there when I originally posted my on my old Twitter before that got taken down, and I lost a bunch of followers.
Yeah, beautiful Twitter.
Yeah, just yeah, one thing after another. But it's like we're because the thing right now is that I'd say we're over 70% done animac wise. But yeah, hopefully the pilot will be done pretty like at least sometime early December. Uh, Yeah, but with this, you get to see, kind of get to see the progression of it with not only the story developing, but some designs we used are based on like older designs and some comic panels and designs and stuff like that. Uh, yeah, yeah. So the creation of Miss Manhattan. So originally, when I was creating it, I kind of wanted the story to be centered more around kind of. Uh, I thought it would be interesting having a more kind of like, story around Slavic culture and mythology is kind of a strong theme throughout it. And I also wanted to kind of one of those series that's like originally it was going to be one of those that you kind of grow up along with, like classic, I don't know, like those animation stuff people watch of like Danny Phantom, because I watched that a lot when I was younger, and stuff like uh, uh, American Dragon, kind of kind of like the Magical Girl series, but for boys. uh,
Hey, now magical girls can be for
oh
anyone.
no, yeah, of course, but yeah, when I think of kind of traditional uh, Sailor Moon stuff, I watched one mermaid one when I was younger, and it was from Japan, but
Oh, Mermaid Melody.
yeah, that yeah, there was magic and stuff, but yeah, and with kind of I'd say almost like a revolution uh, of kind of like animation that's kind of has a teen like an audience that but like older people can watch as of late, such as like Amphibia or like Owl House or stuff like that, and how because I remember seeing a lot of stuff of like how different creators were using like their own kind of unique culture because they weren't seeing really stories told from that. And I decided, you know what, I'll kind of like share some more of the Slavic heritage side on my family uh, as a fun thing. So yeah, initially, as you can see here, it started out very much as a comic before it transitioned to its own thing once again. And well, there are themes and elements background of Slavic and like Eastern European culture. I decided to set it in modern New York, specifically in Brighton Beach Town, because that has a very like strong Eastern European. Someone in the stream lives in Manhattan, basically. Yeah, it was kind of an ironic thing. It doesn't Cleo doesn't technically live in Manhattan. I just want Myths in Manhattan for the alliteration. It just sounds very, very nice. But yeah, Brighton Beach just has a very notable Eastern European community and kind of culture of that. And yeah, kind of decided that to be a setting. And there are references throughout there that I believe people like. It's one of those things of like, oh, once you know it, you'll kind of see it a bit more. Yeah, which I kind of hope to share. Yeah, as you can see, there is you can see one of the storyboards right here. Just a preview of like what's to come. Yeah. Sad thing is, I don't really have any experience with New York as a location, so I had to do like a bunch of research for that. And, like if I could, that's kind of the thing with my series. Like I'm never interested in setting it like where I've lived or where I've been, like Chicago or California or even like just somewhere in the Midwest.
I relate.
Yeah, I think it's because like uh once you know those areas well enough, well, you can do like a whole hey, check out this stuff like that. It's like it's not as interesting to me now. Have you ever read Dresden Files?
I don't think so.
No.
No, it's like a modern day detective noir magic story, but like it takes place in Chicago, but you can tell the author has never lived in Chicago or even in Illinois in general.
Oh man.
Yeah. I probably could have set this like in Illinois, but I would have to call it like Myths near Michigan Lake or something like that. Yeah, it wouldn't be as fun, but
catacombs in Chicago.
Oh yeah. And let's talk about our first character. Would you like to try to pronounce her first name?
Marusha?
Oh yeah.
I got very lucky. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Marisha Cleo Mishakova. Our young protagonist, who Cleo has the kind of the duty of being like kind of the protector of the both the mythical and the mundane of New York. So she tries to keep like kind of the myth like magical beings from getting into kerfuffles and fights or having misunderstandings while also dealing with like trying to protect them, like trying to keep the regular people away from the magic side. Though as the story goes on, it's revealed it's getting harder with each day. It's like it's eventually they're just gonna kind of collide.
As it does with life.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, as you can see, she's a fan of pro wrestling, fashion, and dance. uh, she, one of the things was she originally took up kind of ballet when she was younger at like the Brighton Ballet Academy, just kind of which has like a very famous like Eastern European background of like Russian, Ukrainian dancers who have immigrated to America. So that I do think there's on one side it's kind of there's a theme of her trying to connect with a more Eastern European side, stuff like that. Because she is obviously of mixed heritage. Just kind of she's a fan of pro wrestling. I wrote that in because it was just easier for me to do that instead of trying to come up with a whole nother reason, like a whole nother fine style for her. It's like, you know what? She just likes the stuff I like to make it easier.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. She's about 16 to 15 in the pilot-ish. It's up to change to a degree. It's just because of it was originally been writing it like in the when it was going to be like kind of a novel for kids. Well, it's wildly different because one, she was in the novel, she was going to be half Greek and half Russian. And I decided as I changed I'm like, uh let's kind of ignore the Greek side, kind of go for like a more kind of like very vague, distant Egyptian background and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it would. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, in the novel, I think I was kind of thinking too much of Percy Jackson at the moment because in the novel she was like 10ish when it starts, and she very much has to learn how to become a Sphinx and how to like learn all this stuff. So I just figured, you know what? She's been able to be a Sphinx like since she was a young child. And so we don't have to have that whole like training arc really as much. Just kind of get into the nitty gritty of things.
We skip. We just mess around and do the what is that? A montage?
Oh yeah. But yeah, so she's also been she's been a Sphinx. She could like fully transform into a Sphinx since she was like 10. But up until that moment, she was like, she had like growing magical events and series as a child. Like her parents are well aware that she can turn into a Sphinx.
Yeah, we don't need to hide a Jake Long style.
Yeah, no, kind of. Yeah, one of the things when kind of crafting her is I kind of want to avoid kind of people do kind of draw comparisons to superheroes, and I do see the comparison kind of like subvert the regular like tropes and kind of hurdles they have to go through. Like for example, like everyone in her family is well aware. And one other thing is that like a I'm gonna keep her from just having like all the skills, like kind of like a Spider-Man or a Batman problem. Like she's definitely a very, very smart young woman, but it's like, yeah, she's not gonna have like superhuman levels of intelligence. And it's more about uh her creativity and ingenuity and kind of like uh wisdom when it comes to magical events. She does have a magical girl transformation if you would like to see it.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, let me just get it full loading. Yeah. Yeah, that means let's go in Russian. Funny enough, that voice actress is actually the voice actress for Rose from Howling Hoods. I just found it. Yeah, I'm like, hey, can you do this just really, really quick? This is actually how I originally met her, but she just kind of has too much of like well, she's very talented, but two, but it's like for one, I don't want like to just use her for just every background voice that I need.
That's fair.
Yeah, and she also does. She kind of has a very because she's British. The voice she does when she does an American accent is kind of like kind of always makes her sound like an adult.
Being an adult, what's that like?
Oh no, yeah, totally. But it's one of those things when you do it in your natural like accent, you can kind of gesture the tone differently. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, as she really wants to be like a fashion designer when she grows up. She's very into like for crafting her own stuff and like sketches and kind of working on like different designs she has for like art projects. Which you see along the way. It's also for the future. It's kind of like an excuse to have Cleo in different outfits and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's very like physically gifted. Like even in her human form, it's more because in her human form she's like right now she's very tall for a girl. She's about like 5'11". You get to see it more from like her father's side of just kind of having like absurd like tall, like she's not gonna be as big as him, but it's like one of those things of like, oh, your dad's a giant, you're probably gonna be really tall.
How tall's her dad?
You'll see soon. He's based off a handful of like strongman and archetypes, but
yeah, because I'm like, if she's 5'11", I've seen that.
Oh yeah, no.
How tall's her dad?
Yeah, and she's 5'11", which she's like 16-ish. So like I still haven't decided on the full height from when she gets older, but I do imagine she'll likely be like over 6 feet tall, like maybe 6'1" when she's an adult, because this is kind of like a growing process story, I hope.
Oh man, Sobs in 5'3".
Oh yeah. Yeah. Funny enough, John and Rose from Howling Hoods, the joke with them is like, despite the fact that they're in their 90s, and John's the big bad wolf, their human forms have them be like they're like 5'6" each. So I do imagine fan art of Cleo and John Rose, like some people just kind of drawing like Cleo like the baby to them. It's like, no, Cleo towers over them.
Legit.
Yeah. And her Sphinx form is about like, it's I'd say like 7'4" or something, like Peter Mayhew height from Star Wars.
Oh jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, because I did really love monsters, and like something I do kind of miss when American Dragon season 2 is that they made Jake's like dragon form just look so like and someone else pointed this out, but it was like Jake's meant to be kind of like a biracial in that show, and it was interesting that like his dragon form was the only dragon of like Chinese heritage to have like a more traditionally Western design. It's like that's a really cool detail.
And then they took it away.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a different animation company. It might have just been easier.
Yeah, it was. I liked it better when he was actually, of mixed heritage back then, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think his dad was still around in season 2, or did they change that?
No,
No,
they
his dad's still
kept
white.
it.
Oh,
But they
okay.
just changed everyone's character designs, and
Yeah.
it was very visually confusing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Haley was like purple when she was first like shown with the base of
Right.
the dragon, then she turned pink,
Yeah, and
she was tiny as heck.
yeah, this is like, it's kind of a way because Cleo's there's a theme of like dealing with like kind of mixed heritage or not really connecting to people you feel like are your family, that are your family, like because of like either just differences or like they might be foreign. It's one of those things of like when you have like a dad who's from a different country but you were born in America. Her mom's American though, so it's definitely like a division thing. Just feel like that's a way to kind of accentuate the themes and cultures. Also, she's the only Sphinx. For right now, she's the only Sphinx, but like she's also the only Sphinx in history to have more what we would consider traditionally dragon-like wings. Like every other Sphinx in history has not had wings, and if they had wings, they've had like feathers, like very small ones. Here, it's meant to be a reference to like a Zemi, like a Slavic dragon.
Oh,
That's cool.
that's very cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you like to hear what her? I'll just give you like a rundown of like what some of her stuff in her like Sphinx form can do. As a Sphinx, like naturally much stronger and faster and all that stuff, but also her fur is like completely fireproof. She can breathe 3 different kinds of fire, red, blue, green for now, and each one has a very different effect.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Red fire burns like more like traditional fire. However, the thing is, it burns like much harder than any man-made fire found on Earth. So it's actually more comparable to like plasma or like fire from the sun. Blue creates physical constructs, kind of like that she does use to like. Originally, it can be used as like a projectile thing, like to create a web or something like that. But it can also later be used like from her hands to like create objects, like almost like a Green Lantern, but not to the same crazy extent where he could just like basically reality warp.
I'm like anything you can think of, it's
Oh,
there.
Yeah, that's something that I kind of want to ignore. I'll get into this more later of like power levels to talk about, but like with Cleo, well, she is very, very strong. The thing is, like, she's not going to be the most powerful character in universe or anything. Like, almost more like, I think a good comparison is kind of like Mark from Invincible. I'm like, I kind of want to have it be like, oh, you think it's like kind of the traditional power fantasy at first, but then she gets like really, really threatened and almost dies several times.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but Grain Fire also restores and like mends objects back together. So she usually uses that to like clean up like a destroyed room or like a destroyed town. If there's like she was going up against a giant monster or like a monster hunter or anything like that. That's a way to kind of avoid the whole property damage fight.
I like that. I like when that is addressed as a thing. It just always feels like a better thing to have in the storytelling.
Oh yeah, but it's also like it's a way so you would kind of feel like people would just be like, hey, there's a giant crater in this room now, and like more people would investigate that. It's
oops.
Oh yeah. For small stuff, like she's immune to diseases and poisons. Her fur is tougher than bronze right now. She has enhanced senses and all that stuff.
If she's immune to diseases, that means she can't get sick from anything.
Well, in her Sphinx form, well, I say her human form probably has it too, to agree. But like, yeah, she's immune to all earthly diseases that we know of. There might be a special Sphinx disease in the future. uh, yeah, just that. I was going to say one more thing. She, yeah, she doesn't really have formal training, but she does. Like due to her love of pro wrestling, she does have a way to fight as well as like with ballet as well, because now she kind of knows how like to throw like a really mean kick. But
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, in pro wrestling, there's this thing called pro wrestlers have like 5 signature moves. And we kind of gave that for Cleo. For one, she has like a Mongolian chop. She has like uh, a drop kick, a pile driver, a suplex, and to think what was the last one? Oh yeah, it was a front kick. It's like just a powerful way to like send someone back. But yeah, you'll see more of those, like especially. Well, you won't see as many of them. You'll see more of them as for one, in that fight with the golem she has in the museum at the very end. Chooses three of those. I think she's a handful of magical-ish items on her, and she is able to use some spells in her normal human form. For magical items, she does have like. The thing was when I originally designed her, I gave her like a very long jacket, almost like a Doctor Who jacket, because I like the one that David Tennant wears, because I just kind of really like that look, and I showed it to like some friends of mine, and every like woman friend I had is like, girls don't wear jackets like that, Michael. It's just but yeah, she has magical pockets, so she can fit anything that's like that weighs and is smaller than her into her pocket, but to like a degree. Like for example, she can like fit a sword in there and but have it be like very compact. It's almost like a much smaller hammer space.
Hammer space. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, it's like a hammer space, but you can fit in what's basically in a storage room there. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll get more into it later on. Fuck, what was I gonna say? We'll get into more later on. Oh yeah. Cleo does also have some biological stuff with her. Uh, the influence for her like kind of Sphinx powers were kind of tough, because when you see stuff like American Dragon or even like Danny Phantom, it's like, oh, you can pull from stuff of like ghosts from like folklore, like popular sci-fi. But when it came to Sphinx, it was like there's really nothing there other than a riddle. So I looked up 2 Egyptian gods, Mili Bast and like who are just like basically lions, and Sekma as just like kind of a base for them. And well, one of them you'll see more when it comes to Sekma later on. The influence, like stuff like she's immune to diseases, but she can also see through riddles and illusions and lies for the most part. and
Uncorruptible.
Oh yeah. And while it originally she thinks it's just kind of like a magic sense, she is able to have premonitions and like see the future. But right now it's just like it. Right now it kind of just works as like a spire sense to a degree. Something she doesn't have, full control over or really utilize that much. Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts or questions on her?
Nope, I think you were pretty detailed, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She can speak English and Russian as like fluently in universe. Yeah.
Study Russian, in other words.
Yeah. Well, the thing was like when I had to like I'm not super fluent. Like my Russian is very so-so. But luckily, I found like one of the voice actors I had for like Peter was like, look, I'll help you with the grammar for this. It's like, oh, thank you so much. Because there are similarities between like Russian and Polish, but it's like
Yeah, and then there's me that can't really speak a lick of Russian.
oh no, yeah. I found out when working in animation as opposed to working on books is that like you have to tell them how certain words are pronounced instead of just going like, well, it's in my head. So clearly you get what it's like.
Yeah, I'm like, Japanese, sure. Spanish, maybe.
Maybe.
Russian, what?
Yeah.
Fun
So-
fact: I did 2 years of Russian in college, so I can pronounce okay.
Mhm.
But I couldn't like go to Russia or something and talk
No.
my way through it for the life of me. Like
Actually-
there's so much going on with that language.
I
It's
have a-
amazing.
I have a fun story. My mom, she can't speak Russian, but not like she can't speak and like talk to people, but she can't like she's not like a native speaker. And when she was like in her 20s, she was visiting like a family member in Russia, and she went to a pizza place with three of her friends, and she went up to the counter because she was the only one that could really speak Russian to order. Because she was just with like some like friends like she met from like college or stuff or like work, and she said, "I want one pizza for the four of us, like one large pizza for the four of us." And he goes in the kitchen and he's there for like an hour. And she's like, "Where's our pizza?" And he comes, this like huge Russian guy comes out and he has 4 giant large pizzas and he puts them down at their table.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then apparently, like, he just apparently just waited there for them to eat and pay because he thought they were like gonna dine and dash.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah. That was like the 90s, like back when like the mob ran everything. So it's like it might not be the biggest stretch, sure. Yeah.
4 large pizzas, huh?
Yeah. Have you ever had like Russian pizza?
No, but it sounds interesting.
There's dill on it, like a lot of dill.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, a lot of for like that's gonna be another thing I want to kind of deal with Miss Manhattan. It's kind of like show off some of the more Eastern European quirks and things, because right now it's cool that we are getting more stuff in cartoons, but it does feel like well, this kind of culture we're getting, it's just like it does feel like there is no real that great Eastern European representation unless they're like straight up villains or anything like that, or like weird characters. But here's like, I'm gonna have a more kind of authentic thing. And but like for one, I want there to be a scene later on in the series where Cleo just goes to downstairs fridge and just opens it up, and you see like dozens of jars of like jarred and pickled vegetables that her dad was fermenting. But I'm not going to explain it.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's just a thing with like men of a certain age of like Eastern European descent of just like, we're putting all of our vegetables in jars from now on.
Got to preserve it after all.
Love beets too.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotta admit, it's making me hungry now, though.
Yeah.
And now I want to try to put a little bit of dill on pizza because I'm thinking about it, and I could see how it would work flavor wise. Because it's yeah, like I honestly think it would not be a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But very thick. Actually, I just got Caesar's pizza. Not pizza. I got their cheesy bread because I can't really do their pizza.
Yeah.
One time well, for one, I was like working out again. I wasn't eating a ton of carbs, but like, I'll order Caesar's pizza for New Year's, and I got that, and I ate it because it was like really cheap and really fast. But like then, like 10 minutes later, I'm like, I feel like I have food poisoning.
Yeah, it's so processed, and I feel like I don't know any other way to put it, but it feels like it's salty. Like I just
a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the only other pizza I like I say near as much as like Chicago pizza would be like Detroit style pizza, like Jets. Like that's pretty good. But But still, I'm like, if I get the chance, like I'll always like go for Illuminati's. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, speaking of, you are going to see some more Russian snacks along the line of this series. That is something I want to do with like kind of like Spider-Man or like any of them. I was going to try like if is there a specific one? I was like, no, actually, all kind of the Spider-Man do it of like where they just go up on the roof and they just like have like a slice of pizza or a hot dog throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I think Peter and Miles probably do it the most.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really see with Gwen with her like face mask a bit up.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really see Gwen snacking all that much.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's a ballerina like Cleo too.
That she is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she's not gonna have. Cleo's not gonna have one of those really harsh like Russian teachers or anything like that. It was just something she did when she was younger, and like she'll still do it. Yeah. Trying to think, is there anything else about her? Yeah, I think if we'll get to it, it'll be later down the line. Next slide. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, the Mishakov family. The Mishakov consists of Peter and Hallie. That's Cleo's mom and dad. Peter is from Crimea. It will have been during the time when Russia occupied it. He's of Russian Ukrainian descent. His father is Russian and his mother is Ukrainian. So yeah, the reason why the name is different is because in Rush, like grammatically speaking, like when you have a of or when it comes to like a masculine, like when a man has like that as their last name, it's just Mishakov. But if you have something with like a woman has it, it's they add like a at the end of it. So like for Cleo, her name is Mishakova, while her father's name is just Meshakov. Yeah, it was one of the things with like watching Black Widow. Or like the whole MCU thing. It's like they spend all this money research, but they don't know. Like it's not Romanov. Her last name should be Romanovia.
Huh? I didn't actually know that. That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which now that you say that, it does make sense that Marvel didn't do that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just like a very. It's one of those things when you look back and once you understand, it's like, I can't really not see it. Yeah. Peter is like bigger than Cleo in her Sphinx form. He's just based off kind of like the stereotypical like henchman or jobber character, or like just brutes that you would kind of see in media, kind of having like an Eastern European bad guy, to the point where he even has like an eye patch. Yeah, he lost his eye during a protest against the Russian government when he was younger. Yeah, he moved to America originally, like intending to start like a bakery. But then like it turns out like that's really expensive.
Money.
Yeah, once he met like Hallie and like they had a kid, it's like, okay, he just had to put this to the side, and he still bakes just for fun, but now to pay the bills, he does construction, which is that's just the thing, like a bunch of like Eastern Europeans kind of go into once they get to here. It's like, I'll just take this job. It's quick and it's just easier, and you don't need you don't need to speak a ton of English, but like it's just like it's easier to get without having to sign all this paperwork and jazz. Yeah. They met when Hallie was still in nursing school, so around in college, and so when they met, his English, he was still working basically on his English the whole time. He kind of like asked her out in a very blasé, like straightforward manner, but she's like, we could probably do this later. And he was just said like, let us go on date. She's like, I'm busy today. It's like maybe this weekend.
Me, date.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, not like nearly as tall. Hallie is still like kind of tall in her own right. Like she is like 5'10", and it's pretty tall for a woman. Yeah, she's still a nurse right now. Well, Peter still works in construction. They have just for now. They just have 2 kids of Cleo and Bobby.
I was gonna say brother.
Yeah. 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 Well, but I was right. I mostly just wrote home as kind of like, I don't want to say weird comedic relief, but almost like a kid that like one of those kids that like thinks they're a lot more sophisticated than they really are.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't know why I wanted it, but I want one like visual thing of like him drinking like out of like a wine glass, but he's like drinking milk.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Cleo has a pet pig named Chort.
Like the sound?
Yeah, actually, that's based off like a Slavic demon.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, Chort, the name is.
He's so cute in the picture.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, he's kind of one of those medium-sized pigs. And what was that show? Like Gravity Falls, where...
Oh, yeah, Waddles!
Yeah, Waddle. I was going to say, like... I was going to say models, but it's a...
I love cartoon pig pets.
Yeah.
Like on Hey Arnold, they had Abner, and then they had Waddles.
Right.
And I know, I just like
I love Abner.
I know.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, I want a pig, but yeah, he's a medium-sized pig, so he's still fairly big. However, the thing is, when he was at Norm's place, basically, someone involved in like the magical scene is that Chort ate a bunch of magic truffles, and so now he could transform into a much more demonic boar-like pig that can, help Cleo when it, like, if anything, like they come to like Cleo's house, or if Cleo ever tags along, like Chort could just turn into like one of those giant things and do Donphan, the Pokemon, is that the name of like, it's like a small
yeah.
I was thinking like, yeah, he rolls into a ball and then he just kind of like rolls over people.
Yeah, that's a Donphan.
Yeah.
And Fampy was the baby.
Yeah,
form?
Fampy was the baby. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, he breathes smoke and fire to a small degree. But yeah, I just figured like if I was going to have like more of a mascot-esque character, I would like a mascot character that contributed some way to the plot. Yeah, and if this gets off the ground, I will voice Chort. It's the
yes,
beautiful.
Do it.
Yeah, it's the role I was born to play. Yeah, and luckily also because he's a pig, it's like you can have like a reasonably intelligent animal that gets this stuff. Everyone is incredibly aware of Cleo being able to turn to a sphinx. Currently, she's the only obvious one with like magical abilities in her family. It comes from a very, very like distant line in Hallie's like ancestry. The thing in Myths of Manhattan is basically if you have a very like if say your great grandfather was like a full magical creature or whatever that can potentially skip generations and just affect you. That's why like it just depends on like someone in the family lineage. Like it doesn't really matter. It's just like kind of at random. However, while he is not magic, Peter does have experience with magic and has experienced like magical creatures with Norm whatsoever, which is why he's more, if anything, Cleo's kind of takes after her father of like kind of being a bit more cynical and dry and gruff when it comes to magic.
I feel that.
Yeah. For her, it's kind of like the classic situation where she's just like, I want to go out. I just want to hang with my friends and maybe get a boyfriend or not deal with like crazy magic demons.
Like, let's have a normal day with normal knees.
Yeah. kind of, because I was thinking of like modern-ish like kind of female heroines in the, like a similar department of like. My friend's actually really into the show. I hear it's very, very good. I've seen clips of it. Owl House with Luz as the main character.
Yeah.
I also saw stuff like Amphibia and stuff like that, and how they're very new to the cast. And it's like, it's not that I don't like these characters, but it does feel like these characters are very much made to be like, kind of, they are like, purposely made to be more dorkish characters and stuff like that. It's like, magic is so awesome and all this stuff. Or like kind of a bit more like silly characters. I just want like Cleo to kind of be the straight man when it comes to all this stuff. That's why, magic isn't as special to her, because she's like, I've been dealing with this since I was like a kid.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we're like looking at Luz and just reading the books and going to magical worlds.
Oh yeah. Cleo's would just be like, I want to go home. I'm too busy.
Got schoolwork.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Trying to think. I think there might be one more thing I was gonna say. Oh, actually, that would be the next slide. But yeah. Also, despite being, kind of like coming off of some of the stereotypes, like Peter is like incredibly intelligent, and he does technically have a degree in theoretical physics when he was like in Russia, but I was like in America, I was like, I guess I'll just do this.
I guess they don't transfer over from different countries.
Yeah, it's just because of his size and his like voice and like his look. It's like people just kind of assume more of a brutish character. It's like, no, he's an intelligent man. But one final thing is that Hallie is very much, she's one of those sane moms, of those moms who will like see around the house doing stuff. She really likes Barry White and stuff like that.
That's actually adorable.
Yeah. And there's like, I do want to steal one joke from Cheers where Hallie's just singing, but like Cleo's like, Dad, she's been singing for hours. Can you do something to stop her? It's like, I know one thing, but it's pretty drastic. And she's like, please do it. And he just takes her microphone and starts singing towards it. Though I also thought of that because the voice actor for Peter is actually a professional jazz singer from Russia. So
what?
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to make because music is like an important aspect with this, and I'm trying to find the like. I have worked with composers before, but I am trying to still work and find the right sound for the right composer, because the influence of the music in Miss Manhattan comes from like two things. One is more of like a New York kind of more modern jazz and like hip hop, but also like more of a New York Broadway sound, because that can vary, because a lot of Broadway music has like a Jewish Russian influence, and we can use more traditional like Eastern European like instruments for that, to kind of give it a more distinct identity. Kind of like how I think a really good example of like a show that like did music really well was have you guys seen Moon Girl?
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
like a few episodes.
Yeah, music in there is just like.
Oh wait, Moon Girl. Yeah, I've seen a couple episodes.
Moon Girl. I thought you said New Girl, like the old.
Oh no.
I loved Moon Girl actually, from what I saw of it.
Yeah.
I've seen all of it. It is
gorgeous. Oh my god, yeah. That was actually one of the.
The song sequences are amazing.
Yeah, that was one of the. Actually, that studio, Flying Bark, is one of kind of the influences for the animation and fine styles. God, if we could get Flying Bark, that'd be amazing. Me and like my lead animator Kevin, like we talk a lot about this, but we hit things off because we were discussing Rise of Ninja Turtles. And
that was good.
Yeah, we just had like a 2-hour talk about it before we actually like I saw his art. We're like, hey, this is pretty good, and it's like, hey, do you think you could do this? And he's like, we were talking, but then like Ninja Turtles came up. We like wasted 2
fair, it
hours.
is Ninja Turtles.
But yeah, that show just like really good, just music and overall sound design. That's something I not replicate, but like kind of do it in a way that's like how they were able to pull it off with like such precision, like because that's an actual kind of New York scene.
Yeah, you had me at Broadway, to be honest.
Oh yeah, totally. God, I want to write musicals, but I'm so bad at writing musicals.
I love musicals
Oh yeah,
so much.
yeah. Like luckily, I had too much like family stuff and like insecurities to go full musical kid.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up a musical kid either. I just happened to really like musicals.
Oh yeah,
I
no.
wasn't even in theater.
Yeah. I remember. I think the thing was like, what movie was it? It might have been Anastasia. That's like, this is the best thing ever when I was a little kid. But yeah, next slide. Oh, Cricket and Julius, Cleo's two friends who.
The Two Stooges.
Oh yeah. They're Julius is related to Cleo by Hallie's side. He's her cousin.
Oh.
Yeah. He's a lot more kind of sardonic, and they both help, and they're not magical, but they are able to like kind of like use their creativity and sort of magic objects to help them in a fight. Also, with Julius, I was kind of thinking, like kind of his attitude is that he does like to screw with people and like kind of play jokes, but also just like not care that much. Because I was thinking kind of like Kieran McCulkin's performance as Wallace from
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, because I just imagine like Cleo getting like tackled by like a huntsman or whatever. He's like, Cleo, huntsman, fight. Just
oh my gosh, I would die.
Yeah. While just holding coffee. like he is smart and he is able to like, he's very creative and like a bit more straightforward and way to get around solutions very quickly. Like if someone confronts him, he's not gonna like pull like an elaborate plan. He will just like throw his coffee on them and just run.
I mean,
yeah. I was thinking kind of like, because I remember the whole Kim Possible thing of like how Ron Supple was like the sidekick, but it was very much like in that movie, despite he didn't really have powers in that, but it's like he was like super helpful despite.
Yeah, Ron was great.
Oh yeah. And I get he does get like magic powers technically, but I was like, I really loved him in the movie where it's like, yeah, it's obvious that like he probably could have been killed the whole time, but it's like the way he's just like implementing and like very much helping Kim in certain regards.
And he got out of the friend zone.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then
he was cool about it. Like,
oh yeah,
he was totally cool with the friend zone while he was there, and he's just the best example of masculinity. I love him so much.
Yes.
I was going to say there was that one joke of the year of the cowboy and the ballerina. It's just
oh my god,
Ron was the ballerina.
Yes. Oh, God,
it was such a mood. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I was going to say. And then there's just Cricket. Just Cricket.
Just Cricket.
That's no one knows his real name. He's kind of just an ambiguous person. His mother is a nurse, and that's kind of how Cleo became friends with him. Like they're both their mothers just hung out together, and and then he's a bit more slow but also earnest, like kind of like Woody Boy from Cheers, or like nothing, like very little ill intention. He is not called Cricket because of his eyebrows, which are very very thick. He's called Cricket because he's like a very shockingly good jumper.
Oh
yeah, like it's when he jumps, it's like, oh, he moves at like superhuman speeds that like even shock Cleo. It's like, what the hell?
Like, what are you doing?
Oh yeah.
Where are you going?
Yeah. Just figured it'd be like kind of a fun thing of just like boom. like you just hear like a sonic boom in the background. He's just gone.
Just hops over a whole building.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more hard on his sleeve. Kind of slow. Not the show, but like totally there to help. Originally his name was going to be Noah. He was going to be a lot more, I say, like incel adjacent. It was like that's not fun.
Incel, no.
No. Of just like the whole like, wow, but like just more mean and snarky and like an uncharming way. But it's like, yeah, let's change that. Because I do feel like having friends that like they give each other a rough time, but it's more like in a real friend way than just like why are you guys even friends?
Yeah, I was like, I'd beat the incel right out of him.
No, yeah. Cleo does occasionally hit like as a sibling, almost like in a sibling manner. She does occasionally hit Julius when he does kind of take a crack or a joke every now and then too far. It's like, come on, dude.
Haha, mood.
Yeah, I stole one joke from Archer. Most of my jokes are original, but I just want one joke of like, okay, your hands are like baseball gloves.
Oh gosh. I mean, not the worst thing you can say from Archer, to be honest.
Oh no, yeah, totally. Yeah, but it's that thing of like you have that. You can do it because you're like such good friends, but you don't do it all the time. Yeah. I do. Well, Julius is going to change very much in design. I think it'd be funnier if Cricket just stays the same.
I mean,
yeah, just stay Cricket.
Just stay a little taller, change maybe his hoodie, and that's it.
Yeah.
He just changes the color specifically of his hoodie.
Oh yeah. And now we have Norm Bright, Cleo's teacher, in quotations.
Sus.
He runs a pawn shop, which is an actual pawn shop, but in the back there are like a bunch of magical items.
Still sus.
Yeah, totally.
Pawn shop in quotes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Age incalculable, the sus continue.
Oh no, yeah. Yeah. Nor like that's one of the things later on with like with the he's one of the high like he's described as the greatest historical example and encyclopedia of magical knowledge and history.
Sus.
Oh yeah. So you are gonna find this out, but there are characters older than our universe in here.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we'll get a bit more there. His character archetype is like almost semi based on like the kind of classic trickster wizard kind of thing, but like here it's like, oh, you weren't actually teaching her, but you were teaching her in your own way and stuff like that. Here it's like Norm has been around for a very, very long time, and he's like seen multiple wars. And his thing is like, Cleo, I could like teach you how to fight, but it's like you're a teenager. Why don't you just be a teenager and maybe talk to people first and foremost? Like he doesn't want Cleo to really be a violent person.
I was gonna say because people suck.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. And there is the like he will get kind of called out of like how well of a teacher he is. Yeah, I think the best way he's kind of like the embodiment of story and play to a degree. I'll go more to that in the future, but he's more fun, and his the Slavic inspiration he has is based off like a handful of gods, mainly Belus, the king of the underworld, but also he's based off a Leshy, which is like a before Christianity was kind of like more of a thing in a lot of Eastern Europe. Depending on the tale and the tribe, Leshies were just kind of like trickster characters in the woods, in the forest, and now he lives in basically the urban forest, which is New York City.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, he still kind of does the same stuff, but like he like if people ask him for directions, he will just purposely give the wrong directions just for fun.
Extra sus.
Yeah, he he has a bunch of squirrels kind of working for, well, like friends with, and can kind of turn into squirrels.
You're really not helping.
Oh
this
my
character.
gosh. Yeah, very kind of like an odd archetype. And certain, given just like his being, he's like different magical creatures that have different diets. And Norm, not that he needs to eat, but he does. When he does eat, he just likes to eat stuff like of wood and rocks. Just because he has a relationship with the forest, and that just tastes better to him.
I hear rocks are great for your teeth.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wood has fiber, so
Yeah.
he's doing
Yeah,
good.
that does have fiber.
Yeah.
You get your fiber and your grit.
Mhm. Yeah. It's got a pipe. We tried to base this thing so much off of Leshy while still kind of being its own thing, with a design kind of inspired by like two people of Peter Falk, the actor who played Columbo, and Norm Macdonald, like the stand-up comedian.
I thought it might have been more like Norm vibes.
Yeah. Yeah, and we did everything but like give him backwards shoes, basically. And well, the sense of like you can't tell if he's like being completely sincere or serious, or if he's just like completely lying. Yeah. He actually knew Peter when Peter was a child. And so when Peter came to New York, in America, Norm just kind of like appeared there.
Oh, so we're still continuing.
Oh yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, and it's like just he serves as kind of like a uncle or grandfatherly figure to Cleo in a lot of degrees. And almost serves as like almost like an uncle figure to Peter as well, when Peter's like, but like that uncle who's like, hey, can you help me with this? He's like, I don't wanna. Yeah. And he is aware of most of Cleo's jazz and like the stuff around her and stuff, but like it's in a way where he's more inclined to tease Cleo than everything else. And we actually made an animac long ago with audio you might remember from.
Oh,
young love takes me back, the intense looks, the palpitation of the heart, the whimpering and the soiling of the pants. No, I can't relate to so much.
bro.
Yeah, for Klaus. Yeah, he does. He will teach and like give Cleo different tricks, but they're not less non-violent. What he does do, and like he knows, is like there's a technique here known as magical absorption, where you can absorb like magical energy and stuff like that. And you can absorb energy from different things. However, Norm also, he's able to use it to. He knows how to use it in a more creative way. Of he could just like touch. He teaches Cleo like you could just touch this book and kind of absorb all the knowledge you're able to process and instantly learn it. So while a human can only learn like so much, like Norm would be capable of just kind of basically learning all of like our universe is just history in just like a second and processing that information.
Processing.
Yeah, he's one of the top tiers in said series. And one of the people who works at his pawn shop is Poor Rain. He actually, if anything else, he runs the pawn shop.
70-ish.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Where?
The thing is, he is a wizard, and in here, certain wizards can use magic to just age themselves slower. So physically, he appears to be more like in his 30-ish.
I'm like, I mean,
lucky.
I kind of fall in line here.
Oh yeah. And if anything, he's closer to like running the actual place, and more like keep the shop afloat. Very laid back, just kind of almost like a hippie archetype to a degree, and he serves a bit more as like a direct teacher for Cleo, because he is human like her, and he is able to understand magic more than her, and like kind of give her go around, stuff like that, gives her advice. And it does come off as like strictly kind of a comedic character. He's actually, now that I think of it, he's probably in the top 5 of like the most currently skilled like magical humans in on Earth. Not so much in power, but more just like technique and finesse. And yeah, and well, he does like his mainstay is mostly more illusion and manipulation magic. Is like a way to just kind of like turn the fight. For him, if he ever wants to engage, his name was Poor Rain because I was thinking there was some actor I was thinking of whose like name was Rain, and he's like my parents were hippies. Like, oh, I'll just make a hippie character. It's like I've read too much Dragon Ball growing up, so there's way too many of my characters' names have like origins and puns. So yeah, almost more like a older brother figure to Cleo. He is a wizard from Renova. Renova is a wizard school that's somewhere vaguely in the UK. However, it does have like a strict status quo that they all want to hold up to, and it just didn't like work out for Poor. So he left. He was considered to be like, oh, you could probably be one of like the best teachers here. He's like, I don't want to. I was gonna say,
it's like I don't wanna.
Yeah. I think thinking of giving him Crocs because he kind of has a Crocs vibe.
Crocs?
Yeah. He's yeah. I mean, he's wearing a pharmacy coat and basically sweatpants.
He's such a contradiction.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I do want to get this out of the way. Just because of like I had the thing years ago and stuff like that, but like a few months ago, but that got canceled. But like, say this, he is a trans man, but when I was looking for a voice actor, I couldn't find someone of the right race and like gender they specify now. So for the pilot, he is voiced by a non-binary actor, but I did find a trans actor later on after I got like the animation done more. So if the pilot does take off, I will have him voice Poor from now on. I just want to like put that out there. Like we're going to avoid that.
Well, that's good at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of more of a or type and stuff like that. What was I gonna say? Is there anything else about yes, 70-ish was for Nova. He's a hugger, as you can see with him and Cleo.
Yeah, he a cutie.
Yeah. Yeah. And next up is guy slash gay. Slash guy slash Gabe slash Gaywin. He's a knight from the Upper Realms. Upper Realms is basically the top tier of like the realms and like where the most prestigious, what we would call gods would reside. He has been on Earth before, and he has inspired like many different like characters and religions and folklore. One of the most obvious being the Green Knight, like way back when he was on Earth. However, he can change his skin to look human. I wish he does now. But he does come to. Well, he was working with Upper Realm for like potentially thousands of years. He has recently been traveling across the realms to seal up a bunch of rifts that have appeared across time and space right after like one of the former Upper Realm gods basically died, were killed. It's like, what caused all this? Like, this is like transcending space and time, and like this is really bad. That's how he kind of ends up eating Cleo and all that stuff. Almost like as he has been on Earth before a few times, but like the last time he's been on Earth was like 200-ish years ago. So
oh man.
Yeah, he has a very outdated sense of fashion. So he shows up in like a Sherlock Holmes outfit.
Culture shock.
Oh yeah.
Culture shock.
Cleo's like, well, what are you doing? He's like, this is the peak of Earth fashion.
We are at the apex.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, also, ever since I saw him being so great, I'm like, oh, I can give him like designs from what's it called? The Third Doctor from Doctor Who.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He does also show there's a more a magical and technical side with some of the magic, as like magic can be infused with different forms of like technology. Is why like realms are like infinitely older than ours are like far beyond like what we're capable of like technology at the moment. Like some of them are capable of like Time Lord level of technology. uh yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. Initially it's more of like he's almost just begrudgingly with them. And then he kind of but then like after time comes up and he like starts to warm up with Poor and stuff, all that, it's like okay, now that he's like actually kind of becoming friends with these guys. What else is there? Yeah. This design's a bit outdated armor wise, so I have been thinking of, because these are kind of like older fashion like older designs of them, but I'm thinking of like I'll probably give them a bit more of a sci-fi-esque armor. Oh yeah, the way he travels the realms is something called a rift blade. It is a way to like open up rifts throughout space time and basically go through them, but they can also close rifts and like tears in space time. uh yeah.
That sounds so badass.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it can also be used in a bit more abstract way, which it's like potentially what would happen if you stab yourself with a rift blade.
Your body splits to all corners of the universe.
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And like, oh yeah, when he is introduced, he is more of a like an actual teacher towards Cleo. It's like, okay, I'm gonna actually train you into like how to fight. Can reach more to your potential. And like it leads to like a somewhat conflict between him and Norm. He does kind of initially, I don't want to say look down at Poor, but kind of dismisses him of like this guy's just kind of like a weirdo joke. But then it's like, oh no, it's like a actual kind of like camaraderie between them.
Oof.
Yeah. Oh, and now we're into the antagonist of the series, Elaine Faye. She's the leader of the Seekers. Elaine, the Seekers are a magical hunting cult, which has technically been formed like a few hundred-ish years ago. Like I'm gonna have to look up the specific word, but it was like around the 18-ish century. But then Elaine basically brought it back like around like over 50-ish years ago to kind of do her own thing with it. However, like Elaine's like the first like actual magic user in this scenario, who's like the leader of it, and she's a very like Poor. She did also go to Minerva and also left because she didn't like what was going on, but she also left because like she wanted for more nefarious purposes of, because she is an acolyte of Chernov, and her reasoning for like basically leading the Seekers is it's hypocritical. Most of all, is like her main thing is that like she is a like a more bigoted zealot, and it's like we are going to see her more of like a manipulative. Like she's not like the most powerful character, but she is like very cutting and manipulative, and the way she has control over people is more akin to like a cult leader or like a bigoted leader. Yeah, well, her outfit right now, as you see, is based off the Lady of the Night from the Magic Flute opera, as well as Maleficent.
I thought so with Maleficent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love. Well, also some of the facial expressions, because I was thinking of her. I was thinking of kind of like 3-ish Disney characters of like the scowl of like Lady Tremaine and like Maleficent's like very sharp cheekbones and like her laugh. But I was also thinking of Tony J's performance as Judge Claude Frollo. Yeah, and how like when Quasimodo just went and like grabbed his kind of cape and he just looks back with that sneer. It was just yeah, it's just not a great thing. But yeah, in her quote quote like human life, she does run an orphanage in New York, and it is one of the reasons she is able to get like such like kind of like acquire and indoctrinate like more people from a young age into her kind of belief system and like group. But yeah, I was talking with one friend. I have heard like comparisons to like an emperor-esque character from the Owl House, Bellis. But like thing is, like Elaine just has like a pretty small cult, all things considered. With just a few hundred-ish people, and none of them are very that powerful, other than a few. But the thing is, like, Elaine's just able to manipulate and scheme her way basically towards the top, and yeah, she has great knowledge of magic, and she's more proficient like learnt magic, and is able to like use it in a very like talented way. And like when she is able to, with her first fight, she does pretty much beat Cleo, and is able then basically goes up against Guy to like a standstill.
Oh boy.
Yeah. If you can't see, there are some minor differences between her like her human face and her quote quote like witch face from the left and right, because like she, as a way of like basically blending into the public without being noticed, she does slightly use magic to shapeshift to a degree with her more facial bones. So yeah, when she becomes like a more witch, her face becomes like sharper, and like her bones kind of like just like extend a bit more. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't have a voice actress for her. I do plan on holding one in the future if this works out. It's like I feel bad because it's one of those things of like I want basically the female version of Tony J.
That's fair.
Yeah. Or even like female version of like Gary Oldman from Kung Fu Panda 2. Just his deliveries and just how sharp and like full of like condescension, ire they were. It's like yeah, the way Tony J just yells at someone calling them an idiot is like, oh, that's deeply hurtful. Oh, Huntsman. This is gonna be kind of quick. These are just the soldiers of the Seekers. They're anti-magic monster hunters. They are all just human and not terribly strong, so they mostly start by just hunting weaker monsters. But however, the thing is, once they hunt monsters, it's kind of tradition for them to skin and like turn monster body parts into clothing and or weapons. So let's say, and they are able to gain like some ability from them. So let's say like you skin like I don't know, like a werewolf. Like you can use his teeth as use them as like a club. Like they can do like extra damage or like possibly infect someone. But if you turn their like fur into like a coat, you could probably have like a resistance to the cold, like a lot more than like a regular like cold resistant jacket would. Stuff like that. And the more powerful like the creature, like the more you can pretty much get from skinning them and wearing them as an outfit. Yeah, it's kind of a contradictory thing to like Cleo, because when they skin someone and basically wear them, it's because it's for just easier purposes, but like it's very ugly, it's very unclean, it's very just like from like a fashion point of view, it's just like not a fun thing to look at. But Cleo, like when she like takes like she'll find some feathers and stuff, and like or paint a picture of like a magical creature. It's like, oh, it's a lot more beautiful and a lot more thought out than what these guys are doing. as opposed to those like just like jagged, uneven jackets and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, the Seekers are based off a real life cult. That was very predominant in like the 90s, which believe it actually had CIA connections. So that's fun. Let's see.
That's very fun.
Yeah. All these guys are just normal. Yeah. So it's like for the most part, Cleo can just like basically backhand them just through a car. She doesn't, but she's like she can beat most of these guys fairly easily. Okay. Alec Wolf. Orphan. That's kind of
wow.
a way to orphan, unloved. He's kind of like the more of a, like the rival to like Cleo's in her Sphinx form, but the thing is like he is a very very close friend of Cleo from like a very young age. He is an orphan who was taken in by Elaine like throughout his childhood and just basically raised by her. And so like she's not his mother, so to speak, but like she is like his maternal figure. So it kind of ends up in like a more manipulative kind of not great relationship. Yeah, for the most part, just a like most day to day, just like kind of like a standard like fun, popular teen who's pretty laid back. However, he has also, because of like his relationship with Elaine, he was indoctrinated into the Seekers at a very, very young age. Yeah, and kind of like through just circumstance, ended up just becoming like the absolute top tier there to a point where like it actually shocked Elaine because originally the reason he's missing an arm is because basically Elaine had this ritual where she was just going to send a group of supposed like upcoming huntsmen into a realm to basically, she told them to basically survive, but like the idea was like, oh, we'll kill they'll get killed, then we'll get something from the people who killed them as like a sacrifice exchange. Alec killed everyone in the realm and ended up being severely injured. So before the story starts, for the last like I think 2-ish months, he's been like basically in a coma, just recovering from that fight. He won, but it's like he lost his arm and just got his like the side of his face got very viciously dug into to the point that's why he has like that shaved side of his head. It was just basically that needed to be cut off for surgery. Actually, did you guys see Boy and the Heroine?
I'm actually going to on Wednesday.
Okay. I
want to so badly.
Yeah. Dave Bautista's in it.
I know, right?
Yeah, I was like, who's that voice back then? I'm like, oh my god, it was Dave Bautista. But yeah, Robert Pattinson's doing a weird voice, which is great.
Yeah,
I
like,
heard
that
a clip of
like
that. It's so cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't sound like Robert Pattinson at all.
I saw someone made a tweet of like, you just hang out with Willem Dafoe once, and he twists you. But yeah, in that movie, like in the first like 20 minutes, Mahito has a scar on his like the side of his head, which is why he has to shave it and has to grow the rest of his hair. But like he almost looks like he has a mohawk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of the thing with Alec's design now. Alec himself does not have any magic whatsoever, but through like several rituals and like basically just being exposed to it at like an insane level by like one of the absolute strongest in the universe, Alec has gained like a incredible amount of resistance towards like almost every form of magic. Which kind of, and there's also the fact that like physically speaking, he is one of the most powerful characters in this series. To the point where he's able to like kind of wrestle with like what people would call like kind of top tier gods. But while he is like, you know, at this level of power, he is still like a teenager just being manipulated by like a kind of an abusive, zealous maternal figure, which is why he can't really, you can't really have that jump of him just kind of like let's say like Cleo finds out early on, she just can't say like, yeah, just leave him and stuff like that. Like it's more kind of rough, complicated situation. Interestingly, as I told you before, with the previous huntsman who kill and skin monsters for and turn them into weapons and outfits, Alec did the same, but he did the same to Malor, who is the concept of war, as well as his dragon. So his sword that you see right here isn't really composed of metal or iron or anything like that. Like that's literally just Malor's like flesh and bones. But it's all been compressed to the point where Malor is still able to be somewhat sentient in that sword and is able to communicate with Alec to a degree. And the sword, Alec doesn't have magical abilities, but the sword does. So the thing is, basically, if this not only can it act kind of like Mjolnir, like fight and move it on its own, but like if it, as the concept of war, he has the perfect counter to all like attacks. So if the blade comes near like an ability or an attack, it can like instantly produce the perfect counter towards it. So like say someone shoots like fire at it, the blade will just instinctively just shoot out ice back to just repel it, or like a ice that would like just overwhelm it, or like a level of water that would just instantly put it out. But if it's also like there's just a magical beam, like it will either shoot like just its own magical beam of an equal level, or it will just like shoot like a thing that will just like now the beam's just like it's absorbed or shot back or just completely neutralized. Yeah. And the cape is actually made of dragon skin, so it grants Alec the ability of flight to a degree. It can make him very, very fast, but it's not like he's not as maneuverable as say Cleo when she flies. But it does also make him like immune to most forms of heat. Yeah, he does also have other tools for them. The mask is used as like a ceiling thing. It's like it helps him deal with illusions and stuff like that. But also on his wrist, just to make sure he doesn't instantly kill Cleo in like one punch. It does produce magical like wood and vines that goes into his veins that basically kind of just restrains him and like kind of puts his like metabolism like down so he's not like fighting at full capacity. Well, fun enough, this one on the left is actually that was not a concept. That was just the gift I got from a friend. That was very, very sweet of her.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's always nice when you like know ours. You're like, hey, here, have this. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. As you can see, he's right-handed.
How ironic.
Yeah, no one's gonna like my joke.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, he knows how to clap. He just basically opens and closes his hand like this. So that's how he claps.
Bro.
Yeah. I mean, he has a sense of humor about it, which is kind of like what you need to, but he's still trying to adjust towards the lack of arm as of now. Actually, I was doing like research into different people who have like lost limbs and stuff. And, like, well, he doesn't need to eat like to the same degree. He does actually have to start to eat more because his right arm is picking up all the slack that his left arm used to do as much. Yeah, I found that out. Like there was Footless Joe, and she had a video of like because she lost her foot. She's like, well, like what I was really shocked by was like just how hungry I was. Like after that, I left my leg. It's like, oh yeah, because like the weight's like messed up now.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I mostly just kind of like for the most, just kind of a standard teen for the most part when he hangs out with Cleo. Like they're pretty close friends, and yeah, for the most part, it's just one of those things of like you like a young boy who starts off as a villain, and you just have to kind of have to deal with like how it goes on. Originally, I thought of like because when Alec as like the Seeker is introduced, he has his mask on and all that stuff. It's like, should I try and keep this like a reveal? But I was thinking like just basically right after he beats Cleo, he'll just immediately take the mask off. It's like the audience knows, like, who is this masked character with one arm?
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Could be all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was thinking of just with each big fight, he just loses like a slightly like another body part and has to get that replaced. Like almost like the episode of Invader Zim.
Give me 1 second. My doorbell just rang.
Oh, you're all good. Oh shit! I just got a text. Sorry about that.
Everything all at once.
Oh yeah. Ooh, have you guys heard of that? What's it called? Has Been Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pilot's coming out.
Yeah.
I'm working with two of the people who are like pretty big animators on that for how they've done like professional Disney stuff and like Hit Monkey. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. How's Night Grim coming along?
Oh, it's I now that I'm on break from school, I'm planning to get a lot more done. But it's good. I'm actually going to be posting another teaser this month. So
nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm back.
Yeah, we just talk about that. It's like just one thing. It's just like I love your showing of just like the gothic look towards it, and just like kind of the skating, like just kind of like shading that you do. It's just like really good. Like check out Night Grim. People want all three people watching this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mind if I go to the next slide, or any questions about them or anything like that?
Go for it.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Cool. Oh yeah, Barry Zhao, who's another antagonist. He's actually the first kind of a real villain Cleo bumps into. Again, like Poor and Elaine, he is from Renova, and he is a wizard who left Renova. Noticing the pattern. But yeah, he's essentially he's more of a neutral figure. He's just a wizard for hire, and he'll just basically like he was that kid who was the wizard and all that stuff. He was like, oh, it was all great, but then he's like, he doesn't want to stay in like the wizard world because it's like there's no real cool way to get money there. So he went back to the regular world, but like now he's like he doesn't have too many skills that can like get him like a ton of money super fast. So he's like, so he works in both the regular underworld and both the magical underworld as a different way to get money.
Oh man, why is that relatable?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, granted, I'm sure you haven't murdered anyone.
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
totally.
joking.
Yeah. He's from Manchester, England. I don't know why I chose Manchester. It was just like another one of the few towns in England I understand. Actually, the thing is, Savvy, the voice of Rose from Paddington, is she's British, and it's like I've texted her like, is this actual British slang, or is that not something people would say?
Savvy's pretty rad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's very cool. But yeah, he does at the start. He is very, very briefly kind of working for the Huntsman after just like working for Elaine basically after a failed deal. More of a very much a self-preserving type. He doesn't have really big ideals or just schemes he's working towards like Elaine or other characters. It's more like he's just like, I just want to find a way to get money, and like if I have to throw hands, I'll do it. But it's like the moment my life is endangered, I'll probably retreat.
Got to get them commissions.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. So, well, like, you know, a decently powerful wizard in his own right. Like he's still like, I'd say he's still weaker in terms of like magical applications than Elaine or Kai. I'd say kind of on Porter's level is like kind of like how he kind of manipulates the fight or uses other things, but like while Poor uses more illusions, Barry uses more constructs to basically do his dirty fight for him. he uses a golem, which to fight, which he basically puts with magical energy or like an encryption around them. However, the golem, is based off the infamous Jewish texts of that one Jewish rabbi in Poland. So with study that's like it takes some time to make a golem, and like the longer it's like the days it takes them, like the more powerful it can get. However, like that does also mean if it breaks, it's like basically he just did 7 days of work for nothing.
Oh.
Sadness.
Yeah. Try type. Yeah. Oh yeah, his father was from mainland China. His mother is Jewish. I think it was there was like a animation there was like a Korean animation studio I was watching at the time, and fuck, what's that Thief anime of like he's
oh, sorry, keep going.
He's based off like a French character.
Oh, Lupin.
Yes, Lupin the Third.
Lupin.
Yeah, the guy with the hat who's like the kind of the chief there.
Yes, Lupin.
Yeah, I kind of mixed them together. So yeah, he has everything but the Cybirds right now.
Give it time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so he's just kind of that almost like a semi-bomb scoundrel type. But it's like, no, I'm not gonna stick around the fight. I'm gonna get away. And yeah, it's like the moment like his fight doesn't work well with Cleo, he's like, nope, I'm bouncing. Unlike Guy though, like unlike Poor though and Elaine, Barry is like still like actually like somewhat in his 30s. I haven't given it like a specific age, but more like kind of like a vague 30-ish age of like that guy who still hasn't quite figured stuff out.
Oh, that's like me.
I'm sorry.
God, relatable.
Yeah.
A vague 30-ish age.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm catching up to you very nicely.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I have a birthday next month. I don't want to deal with it at all.
Mentally. Yeah.
I turned 30 in June.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's still like you guys still got like 30 is like not old. Let's be real.
Oh no, I'm ready to be 30. Don't worry.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to be 70 because I am going to be the best old person because I have like I already have like an old person's personality.
Get that a retirement from Social Security.
Yeah, I don't want to do anything. Kind of like more messy hair. Not necessarily the most vicious person, but like also just like I'd say more apathetic to most like people who have like actual ideals and stuff like that. It's like he's like that really couldn't concern me right now. Right now I'm just trying to basically make a buck.
Like I want to survive, not die.
Yeah.
So he's like every millennial right now.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He's that kid who went to Harry Potter school, but then went to the real world like right after. It's like,
just what do I do with this?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fun fact: all the golems he has are named after characters who, like, both the characters and the actors who are in the Three Stooges, like overall throughout time. Like, so there's like Joey, there's Curly, there's Mo.
I bet Mo's gonna be my favorite one.
Oh yeah. There's Shemp.
Oh, Shemp.
Yeah, that's pretty much yeah. I feel he probably doesn't really know his dad, as he basically just left when he to the magic school when he was very young, stuff like that. His father passed away when his father was like in his 40s, so it's just like So he has more of a he's more of like of all things he has more of a connection to like more of his mother's side than anything else. But yeah, he's British. That's the next detail just to give. But yeah, let's see what else.
He's like Constantine.
Oh yeah, just the worst for. Well, Constantine also has a golem. Interestingly enough, Chloe Tan. As you can see, she's not your standard rich girl. She's worse.
She's a Barbie girl.
Now, if Chloe's actually one of the more recent like additions, because originally there was secondary antagonist group, other than the Seekers, was originally going to be basically a government group that was just basically monster hunters and kind of things of like, oh, we're here to combat the supernatural. Just basically every Men in Black type group. But it's like that showed up in so many things and so many different iterations, like just vaguely militaristic guys of like that was in like what that was in Day Phantom, that was in Men in Black, that was in Amphibia, even that was in it's like they're all it was even in Hell of a Boss, but it's like we've had so many of those, and it's not that I don't like them, but it's like we've kind of hit like our stride. So like, so what should I do for basically kind of like a counter monster hunting organization that's a bit more tech and a bit more modern savvy? That I thought of like kind of the rise that like Disney has of like its obsession of like having kind of rich popular girls like kind of get sad backstories and redeemed. Uh, and I thought, what if I did like that of like the mean rich girl who's introduced, but instead of like introducing that her layers are actually like rooted in abuse and trauma, it's that her layers are that she's worse than anyone could have thought. And and so Chloe, Cleo's bully, was introduced. She is from she's the daughter of two very rich moguls from Singapore, of parents who have like investments in both property but also fashion, and basically a lot like their thumbs in a lot of different stuff, but it also includes trading and illegal like selling of like animal parts, which is a thing in Singapore, like to a popular degree of like elephant tusk. It's like, what if Chloe was that, but to a higher degree? So,
oh my!
So her thing is that she is she's instead of hunting exotic animals, she wants exotic monsters. And she is actually aware of the supernatural world, but the thing is, like, she has like an awful. The thing is, like, she's that person who, like, will if she has like an exotic like monster, she'll like put it like in a cage until it just starves or bores her, or she'll just like I imagine her with just like a small fairy and just pinning its wings against the walls.
Literally evil.
Oh yeah. And then so she is also she's more emotionally intelligent, and the thing like the way she like makes fun of like Cleo is that she's like incredibly passive aggressive, and she says things, but she also says them in a tone and in like a way of just like gesturing that like if Cleo gets mad or like kind of like makes a move, Chloe's gonna end up kind of looking like the victim.
Oh
Yeah. Yeah. So
take me back to high school.
Oh yeah. I made that bully. Yeah. Some comedian had a bit of like passive aggressive or like women working together of like, oh, I loved just how you wear anything. Kind of like that, but worse, but also like it's like the insanely rich person. Like most of these rich people in real life, you probably wouldn't like them. Her stats.
Oh, Cleo, you're so good at burying your head in the sand.
Yeah, and so she does have basically a side butler who kind of like is kind of like the traditional battle butler who basically does all her fights for her. However, Chloe does have certain weaponry and guns that like will help her just get into the fight. Like, but it's more like it's how I can introduce like earth weaponry that's able to harm someone like Cleo. She has a very specific designer bag that was made from something I don't remember what. As you can see right here, my friend actually did fan art of Chloe, because we were joking about like different outfits she would wear, and we were talking about the Paris Hilton "Stop Being Poor" shirt. Yeah, that was kind of used. But yeah, it's just kind of the parody of that like rich mean girl archetype who's revealed to be a bit more sad. Like I think the best way is like she's a bit more Regina George than like Shalisa Liverspoon from Legally Blonde. I was going to say Pretty Blonde.
You crossed it with Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah. Just, and we have been thinking of like just basically almost headcanon jokes for her to say of once I get I'll finally have the one thing that will make me happy. What's that? Cleo skinned and turned into a rug, so I could wipe my feet on her Sphinx fur. Is that really? It's like that joke of like, you're awful, you're irredeemable monsters. Like, oh, what took you so long, idiot?
I would beat her from the grave.
Oh, yeah.
Just from the grave.
Yeah. It's a fun way to just introduce like a more evil-esque character like this without. Yeah, she just wants like basically animal skins, or like monster skins, just to basically to wear, just because it's like an interesting fashion thing to her. Chernov, yeah. Now this is like the ultimate antagonist of the series. His head is clipped off. But Chernov is the ultimate force who is Elaine's master and who she is tried to serve. Like well before like our universe was formed, like there was a battle between like several of the higher gods of the upper realms, and their fight like happens across space-time. And while it is widely a secret from the public, like there was great loss to a degree. Like a permanent scar was left of the entire expanse, which we'll get into later. And Chernov, his body was, and he was sealed outside even non-existence. However, his consciousness is still able to form avatars and thoughts as a way to kind of like put himself back out there and trying to plot his way back to the real world. What you see on the right is an avatar of his, and it is based on like several, Slavic monsters, and the name Chernov actually comes from two kind of old Russian words, which means like it means black/dark, but it can also mean bone or soul. So his name can mean like dark soul or like black soul or
Dark Souls.
Oh yeah, almost. And and just like the complete just other overseen monster of the thing. And well, even his right now his avatar is sealed away, and his current being is just like still finding a way to plot and to get himself out there. And and so far there have been a handful of people who's been able to manipulate and to have them to kind of serve, and a lot of them are known in like different ways. There, some like call themselves like an acolyte of Chernov, like Lane. Others are like scholar of Chernov. So he kind of serves as like almost like in a way he can be interpreted as more of like a Lovecraftian beast. It's like if his presence is like truly awakened, like reality will just be usurped. And he has appeared in Cleo's dreams a handful of times as like a fermenting warning, and one of them is right here.
Oh,
I
remember
it
this.
Is true.
Sorry.
That which I have revealed to you. There is no God, no universe, no human race, no earthly life, no heaven, no hell. It is all a dream, a grotesque and foolish dream. Nothing exists but you, and you are but a thought, a vagrant thought, a useless thought, a homeless thought, wandering forlorn among the empty eternities. He vanished and left me appalled, for I knew and realized that all he had said was true.
Okay, that was based off the the stranger from Mark Twain. One of Chernov's avatars is able to kind of manifest himself as as a Mark Twain-esque kind of person. I just thought that'd be, yeah. I thought that'd be kind of like an interesting, ironic thing. As like, yeah, Mark Twain is not like a bad person or anything like that. I'm saying, but like, yeah, I just figured that'd be kind of an interesting, like, visual representation. And then on the left, we have this. Let me try one more time.
Баю, баюшки, баю, не ложися на краю. Придет серенький волчок и ухватит за бочок. Он ухватит за бочок и потащит в лесок, и потащит в лесок под ракитовый кусток. К нам, волчок, не ходи, нашу Машу не буди. Баю, баюшки, баю, не ложися на краю. Придет серенький волчок и ухватит за бочок. Он ухватит за бочок и потащит в лесок, и утащит в лесок под малиновый кусток. А малинка упадет прямо Катеньке в рот.
Oh, sorry. I went back forward a bit too much. Yeah, but yeah, that was 2 appearances he has in Cleo's dreams, which she just kind of originally she just interprets just to being kind of standard dreams. But yeah. Oh yeah, Shakira, can you tell me what you thought Cleo was designed as at the moment?
Ruby Rose.
Yeah. I can kind of see it like the red, but it's like,
yeah, I'm like, I specifically think of her season 4 outfit. It's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's very similar, but like, yeah, it's just based it off the princess from Koshi the Deathless, or Koshi the Immortal is like the actual title.
Which I'm like, maybe it's inspired by that anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, red's a very nice outfit too, like that. But yeah, initially, because with Cleo being able to truly see the future, even like in an uncontrolled way, like she's able to get premonitions and warnings of Chernov, even despite like him not technically existing at the moment. Yeah, and as his at one of his avatars is like kind of the influence by Koshi the Immortal, the skull on his face is cracked at the right side. That's because in some versions of the story, the right side of his face was like completely cracked by a horse kick by one of the brothers. I have been told like he does, because I do love like these more eldritch designs, and my friend actually introduced me to the show, the Centaur World, with the which is I think it's an okay show, but like the villain, the Nowhere King, and his design is just like terrifying.
Yeah, they did some cool stuff with that.
Yeah,
it was a lot of like dripping and.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a sucker for like weird dripping monster things, which
how specific.
Yeah, with Chernov kind of has, because he is able to just kind of vomit tar and bile. But yeah, he's described more as like as opposed to Norm, who's technically like a story and like a living forest. He's a living plague and the end of stories. So, yeah. Next is Cleo's room. That's a bit lighter.
So much red.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of it was kind of influenced by both Russian kind of like Ukrainian fashion with like Slavic. This carpet is very famous design, and you could. I was kind of tempted to like put like carpet on her walls because that's a weird thing certain Russian people do.
Huh.
Yeah. the design here of her stuffed animal is actually based off Vinny, the Pooh, who is basically just the Soviet era version of Winnie the Pooh.
Aw.
And honestly, I like Vinny more. I just love his little design and like his little blob face. Yeah, kind of reminds me of like a Tanuki in a way. As you can see here, she has a sketchbook in like a area like that, but she also has like an old sewing kit from like a family heirloom. She has wrestling posters. I imagine these would be kind of like her 4 favorite wrestlers of like Jade Cargill and like Rhea Ripley and Osaka and like Queen Zelina. I also imagine like Sasha Banks and stuff like that would be some of her favorite wrestlers. Yeah. I imagine like someone like, I don't know, like Jade Cargill or Rhea Ripley would probably like awaken something in like young Cleo. Like, like maybe there's a certain type of girl she also likes.
I mean, that's valid.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, she's still figuring stuff out because she is like still a teenager. It's like, yeah, she's still at that age where she would be like, oh, I'm kind of interested in more stuff. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, she does have like, I'd say it's more, she has a bit more of an obvious crush on like a certain boy, but here it's like, oh no, she might also just like girls too. But it's like, it's like whatever, people can read into it.
I relate.
Yeah. We actually went through different hairstyles of Cleo, as you can see right here. We tried that out a bunch, but ultimately I want hers to be a bit more, is probably going to happen more in the future, where her hairstyles could be a bit more bigger and like fizzier, because her hair is meant to more resemble that of like a lion mane to a degree. It's just kind of like a fun Sphinx reference, but like I do hope to, I don't want to like be too harsh on like the animators, but like I do hope to change her design a bit, her hair a bit as she gets older.
I still love looking at the very first one.
First one is, oh yeah, it's very nice. Yeah. I mean, we'll go through different hairstyles, I'm sure, but like I don't want to hurt the animator's hands that much. Yeah, and here's Cleo in an outfit she made, which is a reference to the Anastasia movie.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I mean, it's a very, very nice dress.
More on that later.
Yeah. Trying to think, is there anything else there? Yeah, it's nothing too much. She has a babushka, like right here. It's a scarf, depending on who you're talking to. She'll either wear it as like kind of like a head wrap or just like a regular scarf. Hats and stuff like that. Not too many like magical items in here. I kind of want to do, like, I don't want to say like that bad, like mean talk another show, because I do think there is a lot of value to that show, but like when it came to like her and her relationship with some people, like with Alec and like her general vibe, I kind of wanted to make Cleo kind of like a more grounded and like friendly version of Marinette from Ladybug.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, she's into fashion stuff like that, but she's more of like more pursuing her own goals and stuff like that. Like her dream job is to be like she wants to make pro wrestling outfits for different women and stuff like that.
I mean, I've only watched one episode of Miraculous Ladybug, and I can already tell Marinette's kind of insane.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Marinette is.
Oh no.
I have watched all of it just because it's so extra that I love it.
It is extra.
But yeah, she gets a little more grounded in like season 4, 5-ish, but for those first 3 seasons, she is a force of randomness.
Season like 4, I remember she had like the dude's schedule all like listed out and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was getting a little intense.
It's also like because the other guy like has a crush on her. It's like the cat. It's like, okay, maybe just
the love quadrangle is amazing.
Yeah, it's weird. I've heard about that. I'm just like, so she likes him as himself, but he likes her in her alternate form. And
but then in season 5, it all switches up, and
there was also like
amazing.
But there was also like a weird thing of like her being like, "Oh my god, please respect my personal space," but then she's just like sniffing his hair in like his normal form.
And then Adrian has a cousin who looks just like him. Oh my god!
Oh wait,
you're kidding me.
No,
I
I'm not. It's
I saw
so
a clip.
good.
I saw a clip of that. I think I know what you're talking about. Was that
Oh.
when he said like he was like trying to play basketball with him, and then he just said, "I'm sorry to show up to your mom's funeral or your dad's funeral."
Just the most out of pocket
What?
line. I forget which one of them didn't show up to the parents' funeral, but one of them didn't show up to the parents' funeral.
Who did? I was like, "What the fuck?" Yeah.
Oh my
What
god.
is going on?
Okay, you need to check out some of. Oh my god, for Gabriel alone, I've never met a more frustrated man in my entire life.
Yeah, I remember I was originally into it because I was like, "Oh, I kind of want to approach 3D modeling and stuff like that." It didn't work out. Let me be real. 3D modeling is way too complex. But that's like, oh, actually, yeah, this Ladybug show actually has really cool designs. I'll check this out. Maybe see if I can learn some stuff from it. It's like, oh my god, this is insane.
There's so much
I
going
got
on.
that from one episode. Just like everything's insane right now.
It keeps doubling down as the series goes on. I just watched the most recent movie release, and I was shocked once again. I appreciate it so much. It's like my guilty pleasure type thing. It's just so great.
You all have those shows where you watch, but you're just like, is like what was the decision behind this?
That was me when I tried watching like Glee for the first time. I'm just like, why do people appeal to this?
Yeah, so
I will say though, if you watch the they did like a Ladybug Miraculous movie that's like
a prequel,
basically
right?
like it was the movie that went to the theaters, which was like kind of like the series but all in one movie.
What?
And yeah, they kind of like did like an alternate version of the series just taking place in one film, which was, and they made it a musical too, which was ambitious to say the least.
I think that was the thing with.
Oh, sorry.
No, sorry. It's like that was one of the frustrations I had with the show because is her name Chloe too? Like the bully girl?
Chloe Bourgeois.
Zoe. Yeah, she was such an asshole, but it was like,
oh my gosh, you have to, in season 5, she's doing things that are just illegal and no one is stopping her. And
illegal? What?
Full. I mean, I don't want to do spoilers, but like just out and out doing things where it's like there are laws. There's no way she can just be doing this publicly and everyone's just like, well, darn it. I mean, I'm not sure what we should do. I'm like, this is a country. Like, just you can do something.
She should have been the main villain of the show. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna have to stop. I'm sorry about going on the 10-minute Ladybug rant,
But I will say real quick, in the movie, the renders for the 3D stuff they did,
they look beautiful.
Stunning. They're stunning. Worth watching just for that.
Yeah.
Noted.
Norm's background. A lot of them are based on like items from Slavic mythology that he'll just give to Cleo for a different thing.
Carpet?
Yes, it's a magic. Well, the thing is, carpets can do two things in Slavic mythology. There's flying carpets, but there's also carpets that you just kind of like unroll, and then like usually food that's on the carpet just becomes a reality.
Sus.
Different items like that, but there's also just some dumb kind of references to like Columbo and Norm Macdonald. Mainly for this, it's a giant hat. It's because it's funny. It's just a hat. Looking at what else. Magic Bag Seeds. I do imagine this kind of be like your grandpa's room that you go into and just smells like smoke.
Good grief.
Oh, not that, but just like that kind of grandpa room. Like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff down here.
What even is all this?
Yeah. Oh, The Expanse. Yeah, really quick. The Expanse is basically this version of like all the alternate realms. There are 7,139. There used to be way more. But
there's more?
Yeah, there used to be. Now there's not. But basically, the realms work like almost like a Russian nesting doll, because it was actually based on kind of like how the Greeks thought realms, like cosmology, works, and basically you have the smallest realm is right in the center, but then there's another realm out there. It's like 4 times as bigger. It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger the realms get, usually the more complex and hard to exist they are. Like the gods mostly exist in the upper realms for the most part, and kind of like exist in like a state of like quantum entanglement and weird theory. And I just thought it'd be funny if I just made Earth the absolute smallest realm of all. It's like our universe is super small compared to everything else, but
Not surprising.
yeah. But yeah, that's why a lot of magical creatures now kind of go to our realm because there's like not that much magic, and people are like, oh, we can just make a life here. It's like there's not too much going on here, especially when it comes to technology. Magic. Okay.
Magic.
Yeah, very quick. There's 2 types of main magic for the most part: natural and learnt magic. Natural magic is something you just inherently know. It's like your body. It's like breathing. It's like you just know this, and you can improve it in your own way. But it's like you do have some people just have certain gifts, and learnt magic is something people have to learn and kind of think to craft a spell to use it. A good example would be like, let's say there's a dragon. The dragon that's able to like just breathe fire, that's just natural magic. But if the dragon like curses someone to like fall asleep instantly, that's a spell, and that's learnt magic, stuff like that. Cleo's like mostly a natural magic user, and while natural magic is for the most part more powerful and they like costs like less stamina and stuff like that, you don't really have to train for it. It can rely on people being over reliant on it and be kind of lazy. As alert magic it implies there's more proficiency in like learning with it, and a bit of like a skill issue, as the young people would call it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not. Just a heads up, I'm not doing young people lingo for this show. I can't do it.
Yeah, please don't, because I'm very much out of the loop of young people savvy and all that.
Yeah, I'll do it, but
Yeah.
I'll have to wear my Steve Buscemi costume.
How do you do, my fellow kids?
Yeah, and yeah, there are magical items in this, but usually those are fused with someone's magic previously. And there are some occasional magical items that are just inherently magical, much like natural magic. Most Earth wizards do have a magical conductor, and for years they were just like wands and staffs. But like usually they can just now we've reached the level of like, well, now magic we can just use a special wood to kind of like wipe it over like whatever an item that's personal to us. For example, Elaine has a ring that can turn into a staff and all that stuff. It helps her like easily conduct her magic and perform spells easier. But Barry uses his hat as his conductor because it's a bit more casual and stuff like that. He loves his hat. With natural magic, some people do have afflictions, just like how humans humans go through puberty and like can get sick just depending on their biology. Certain magical creatures have that as well. For example, Cleo as a sphinx, she has like other magic she can possibly use, but like if she does have things like if she does consume human blood, then she will just go into a rampage. It's basically like in a bloodlust, just berserk like state until like either someone's able to use magic to snap her out of it, or she's just like beaten out of it. Yeah, she's basically drunk in this state, but it's like, yeah, unless like you knock her out and just wait for it to wear off. Yeah, but yeah. It was just that because I watched Inuyasha growing up, and it's like I'm going to give Cleo an awesome feral transformation.
I love Inuyasha so much.
Oh yeah. I don't see that ton with like female characters, like the feral state. It's more of a dude thing unless they're like a werewolf. But I just figured it'd be kind of like a fun thing.
Yeah, the only exception I've seen in terms of that now is literally Inuyasha's daughter. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and Cleo can do stuff like see in the dark. That's just like it's both natural magic, but it's also her biology. And okay, tears. Sorry about that. Tears are kind of, there was a human who went to the expanse and was able to went across all the realms and just like wrote down like a bunch of like things he found. So it's not exact science, but tears are kind of an unofficial ranking of power in said universe and like what characters and like their class. E and D are the most common. E is just like basically at this point it's just a normal human without magic. Nothing too much, nothing too fancy. But they can, get stronger and stuff like that. D is like they're more found in the expanse, and they're basically just a regular person in the expanse. Even if they have magic, it's going to be very little, but they are going to be, generally speaking, stronger and able to survive more stuff than, like, say, your average human would survive. Like, I'd say, like, higher D tiers are like almost like Michael Myers from Halloween. Like,
Oh boy.
yeah, superhuman, but not that superhuman. Like, no one's gonna throw a car in D tiers. C tiers are one of the most common, like in terms of like upper strength, and that's what Cleo is initially. And there is the most like distance with them, of like stretch of like power of like, yeah, they're definitely superhuman at this point and does range, but they are it's usually someone being a C tier is usually a sign of just being like either young or like not super well trained while still having all this like power. So they can theoretically get stronger, but they're still like a sign of like being green around the stuff. Cleo's a C tier when we first see her, so like very powerful by all regards, but like still young and like not super up there in terms of like her potential. Uh, have you like Invincible? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Cleo's like as strong as like the end of season 1 mark when we first see her. Maybe a bit like overall a bit more powerful, but like maybe season 2 start mark. But it's like, yeah, she's very strong, but she's still like green behind the ears. uh, Usually wizards are that like too like predominantly skilled wizards. But B is like definitely like more powerful. Like they're at the point where like they can like cause like countrywide damage and stuff like that. They are usually there's a lot more of them than C tiers, but they're still not like an absurd amount. But they are able to way more superhuman, more trained, and they likely have more variety in terms of like their abilities and stuff like that. A tiers are where we get into the people who are like they're widely viewed as the strongest that are around because S tiers are just so rare, but like A tiers are around to the point where they can just like they're conceived as like, oh, these guys are probably like the physically strongest beings around. It's like they're at the point where they can cause plant-wide destruction and like do more weird stuff. They're more, I say like an A tier is more like a small god or like a demigod, so to speak. However, S tiers are the absolute pinnacle of power, and more like a lot of them just conceive them as like gods. They're at the point where they're able to, for the most part, they have like just transcended, and they can exist in like just multiple states of being, or they can easily just create and wipe away a realm or a timeline or stuff like that. It's like it's not too much of a threat to them. Some of them can just exist in infinite amount of space or have endless magic. And they're far closer to primordial concepts than like actual beings. It's gotten to the point where the only new real like S tier that hasn't been like just part of the original like S tier group where that family is Alec. And it's just like a one in a like a like quantifiable like amount of numbers. It's like, well, this is like a 1 in an octillion chance of like someone being able to fight an S tier that wasn't a human, that wasn't already an S tier. So yeah, but that's why Alec wears that thing. So for the most part, like when he's holding back, he's just A tier for the most part. Yeah, so yeah, Cleo's right here. So just
little
a
powerhouse.
yeah, little teenager. Yeah. And I got one more thing I would like to share. Let me just bring this up. Share this tab instead. This is a this is a special preview for Miss Manhattan. This is the end. Fully animated. Enjoy.
Oh, nice.
Hello? Norm? Four? Me? I need some help.
Cleo, how are you? Your aura looks healthy today.
Hey, Four.
Are you finally through with school?
Ugh. Well, for the year I am. Still have a few years left in high school.
Don't let them tell you what you gotta be, Cleo. You gotta know when you finally know. You can be like no to him, you know?
Yeah, I know, Four. Look, is Norm around? I gotta see if he can help me out with something.
Yeah, he's in the back watching an old baseball game.
Hey, Norm.
Hey, Seedling! What do you think about this?
I think it's a stick. Look, Norm, I was at
What do you think it smells like?
smells like chocolate. But while I was there was this wizard in the back. No one saw me or anything.
Oh, take a bite then if it's so much like chocolate.
My God. While I was there, he ended up turning this little guy into stone. And I was wondering if there was something you could do to help turn him back.
Oh, hey, come on. It's just one bite. Come on.
Because I know that if I do, it's going to end up being a normal stick. And I'll get splinters in my tongue. Or you cover the stick in wasabi. Can you please help me?
Am I really getting so predictable?
Yes. Just kind of. I still have to go pick up milk from my dad later. You think you can help me out?
Oh, it's a Dreckerback. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you don't see these fellas out of the woods often. Yeah, poor little fella probably didn't have enough magic to defend himself.
Do you think you can help?
Oh, hey, Siegling, would you mind? Shouldn't be a problem.
Great. Now, is there a spell or a potion? I can go out and get
So, what present did you bring me?
Present? You didn't ask for a present last time.
Well, I wasn't in a present mode at the time.
Thus.
In the present, I want a present. So, what you got? And something new, too.
How about a joke?
Oh?
Okay, here we go. So a bunch of animals on a farm create their own murder mystery show. Every animal on the farm has a role. The cows, pigs, goats, the ducks. But because everyone has a role, the show just stretches out and goes on and on. And in the end, it ended up being a bore.
It's still cringe. It's still cringe.
That's a good one, Seedling.
That was not good.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, there you go.
Is milk going to negate the magic, or...
You said you needed to pick up some milk, so I saved you a trip. No need to thank me.
What about,
What? Oh, yeah, that. Yeah, no problem. Oh, man! What a fright! Where am I?
It's okay. You're safe now, Mr.
Bartok, my friend.
Well, Bartok, I'm Cleo. It's nice to meet you. You don't mind me asking, Bartok, what were you doing with that wizard back there?
We were making an egg trade. He said he'd give me a century if I gave him a certain wooden egg that held other eggs.
Do you mean a Matryoshka doll?
I don't know what he made a big fuss over.
I don't know how I said that on the first try.
No one either.
What's so special about this egg?
All right, little buddy. Four's gonna help you get figured out. Mind heading out with him so we can ask you some questions? So, you said there was a wizard.
Yeah. Look, he had this knife and he was going to cut open Bartok.
No. I'm not mad or anything like that, Seedling. No, I'm glad you stuck your neck out. That was the right thing to do. It's just, I don't want you to focus too much of your time on this kind of stuff. Ever since you've officially become my apprentice, you've been getting into all sorts of shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
You got your whole life ahead of you. Look, I know how smart you are. Just try and stay out of trouble as much as you can.
What's that?
Your very own bag of apple seeds. for when you can't stay out of trouble.
Oh? What do they do?
I just said you were smart. Why don't you try to figure it out?
You know, for someone who's like 1 billion years old, I think you would get tired of pranks.
Yeah, you'd think.
All right.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Took a long time.
That was so great.
Yeah. Yeah. Small spoiler thing. The seeds just basically heal you after being severely injured.
Oh, it's like sensu beans.
Oh, yeah, that was the whole thing. I wanted the sensu bean references. So, yeah, it's one.
Oh
of the,
my god, I love it.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's somewhat based off like there's a golden apple in Slavic mythology that can restore your power or restore your health and stuff like that. So, like, what's the smaller version of that instead of like bringing you back from the dead? It's like, oh, just the seeds of an apple seed.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that was Special thanks to you and to Ray O'Hare, who was the voice of Norm, who was a Broadway actor who I recently found out got to work with Dolly Parton. That was very cool.
What?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's so sick.
I'm so jealous. Yeah. Any other questions about Within Manhattan, this series?
Again, you were very detailed, so.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we're still working on the pilot, still working on that to come out, and we still have to deal with some signature and papers like that. But if you want to support us in any way, just and you don't have any money to spare, you could just share and spread like clips of the pilot that have come out so far. That's a great way to help us produce. Or even just like share our YouTube channel or our Twitter, like anything like that, just helps us like a ton. Hopefully sometime in January it might be done. But after the pilot's done, I do hope to kind of raise a Kickstarter to form a fully animated thing about this, a fully animated series.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, or at least one episode.
Yes, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, totally. And hopefully I can. Well, for now, it's a bit. I won't say generic because I do think it is very good, but it's a bit kind of like standard pilot stuff. I do want to get into the more. So I'm a big horror and like action guy, and I do want to get into those influences a bit more as we go on. Yeah, probably won't be that many changes overall. There will be a few. If I can, voice cast changes, like for example, Poor, and there's one voice actor I want to see if I can get him, and there's like, but like there is also one. There's a few voice actors I have in mind for Chernov if I ever do get to him. One would be obviously Ron Perlman. just be like, just do the Lich, just do that.
That would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, just do your normal voice. Sounds scary and terrifying and cool.
Ooh.
But also Jim Pereri, he was Craven the Hunter in the Sonic video game, not Sonic, Spider-Man video game.
Oh, he was actually great.
Yeah, but he also played, oh my god, Crane Prime from Rise of Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
Yeah, that voice was really good.
Also, fun fact, I realized he was actually also the dad in Victoria's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a weird thing to realize. I'm like, that's the dad from Victorious.
Yeah.
That's Tori and Trina's dad.
I remember I was watching Korra not that long ago, and there was Tarlock. I was like, who is this guy? He sounds so familiar. And I looked at the voice actor, and it's like, oh, it's the guy who plays Klaus from American Dad, just not doing a German accent. Yeah, well, thank you all three for coming on. Why don't you tell us why don't you tell people where they can find you and what you're working on, like what your deal is?
Oh, okay. Should I start?
Yeah, go left to right.
Okay. I can't tell what's left or right considering I'm just
you're first.
But okay. Hi, Shakira Dunn. You can find me at Twitter at Shakira Dunn as well. Some people like to call it Shaky Ray Dunn, but yeah. I am currently doing a bunch of voice acting indie projects like Defenders of Elodia. What else am I doing? Good grief. Don't operate on like a few hours of sleep and then going to work and then coming to a session. So.
Yeah. Kitty?
You can find me. I'm Katarina Fink, but you can also find me as Kitty K Studios on like Twitter and YouTube is my main thing. And I just post a lot of Nightgrim updates, and so that's my main thing that I'm working on while I'm finishing up my school next semester. So yeah.
And Jenna?
And I'm Jenna Rose. On Twitter, you can find me at jrosereads, and my website is the same thing, jrosereads.com. I also do a lot of voice work for various indie projects. You can find me in some stuff that Wolf and Magpie has put out recently. I'd have to go over in my head like what it's okay to talk about.
See?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Yeah, and right now we're taking a small break, but I just finished a couple of months ago pre-production on a short animated film for an indie series that I want to continue with, and I'm hoping to start production again in the spring, and I'm excited. It's called Antipasto, and if you want to find out more, the ad for that is in my bio on Twitter.
Yeah. I'm Michael. I run Greyworks. I'm creating Howling Hoods and Myth of Manhattans, the Animac pilot. Our next Howling Hood short should be out relatively soon. It's full of professional animators from Hip Monkey to Disney series such as Big Hero and Amphibia, but also as well indie animation such as the Hasbin Hotel pilot. I mean, the new episode that's coming out in the Amazon series. So check that out. We are working on the Myth of Manhattan Animac as of currently. Hopefully that will be out around January-ish. You can find us here. And if you want to continue our work, just spread the word on Twitter or anything like that. We might have to do a Kickstarter soon, just to like kind of cover the last like stretch, but we'll see. Stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a former ghostwriter for hire, and I'm technically a voice actor now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you later. Bye.
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 Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.